Hey, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to revisit the Joy-Con drift issue of a Nintendo Switch. I know recently I'd made a video that was a rebuttal to VK Channel's thoughts on all we need to do is shim it up because the backplate gets loose. Now, the real reason this is getting made is because I've had several customers ask me, won't it be cheaper for you to just put a shim in it and get it back to me? And my response is always no, because it takes more time, more labor, and it doesn't always work. So if I try the shim, put it together, and it doesn't work, well, that customer is going to be upset when I tell them it's more money because I basically had to do it twice. So in today's video, we're going to just show you how to change that stick and how little time and how easy it really is to do, even as an end user. So if you stick around, we'll show you how to get it done. All right, on the bench today, as you can see, we have a couple Joy-Cons. And although I've made a video on changing the sticks in these Joy-Cons, I wanted to kind of revisit this one. And it's partly because of the video I had made earlier that was a rebuttal to VK Channel's, miracle solution, that all you had to do is shim these guys up to make them work again. And of course, my video back then was that they do fail for other reasons other than just this backplate separating. Now, in that time, since I've made that video, I've had a bunch of customers say, hey, I need my Joy-Cons fixed because they're drifting. And I say, hey, no problem. I charge at this time, $15 to do it. And that includes the new stick and generally some cleaning, and I'll update the software and recalibrate them. And of course they say, well, can't you just shim it and make them cheaper because now I'm not replacing the actual stick? And I have to explain that if they want me to shim them, it could actually take more time. So in turn, it's going to be more labor, and in turn, it's going to cost more. And the reason for that is because if I take it apart and I cut a shim and take the time to do that, put it back together, and I, grab my switch to test it on, and it's still drifting, well, since this is a customer, they're going to expect that Joy-Con to work when they get it back, which means I have to open it up again and check things and re-shim it, and then maybe even at that point just realize the stick has gone bad completely and put in a new stick. So this is kind of a video to, first of all, show you how simple it really is to change the stick in these, and to show people who may ask me that question if I can just shim it for them, the reason why I wouldn't, and the actual time that it takes to change it. So today's video is going to be kind of strange. We're going to try to do it completely uncut. And a matter of fact, if I think I can do it in DaVinci, which is my editing software, to just go ahead and add a timer. And we're going to show that it really only takes about 5 or 7 minutes to do these. So I'm going to change this, and I'll grab my switch, and we'll do the updates, and we'll let the timer run. And this isn't going to be a how fast can I do it video. This is going to be a kind of a normal pace at the bench and how fast it really, or how long it really takes. So before we get started, we'll need our Joy-Con, obviously. You need a tri-wing screwdriver. This one's marked as a 360 by 50. I think it's a 1.2 in other methods of measuring. A single zero Phillips screwdriver, magnetic if you've got it, and a spudger to pop the battery out, just because it's easier to get it out of the way. And I generally like fairly sharp and curved tweezers for this one. It's easier to get under the bail. And there's only minor differences in the left and the right Joy-Cons. So I know I'm going to wind up putting my head in this shot for the overhead. And if I do, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to do a split screen or a double in post, so there's no editing in this one. But let's go ahead and try to get that clock on the screen, and we'll get it started, and we'll get started. Now, of course, with customer units, they can be pretty nasty. Screws out, little pressure at the edge, grab our spudger to pop the back off, run it down the back. Battery out. This is just a lift connector, comes out. You only have to remove the 3 gold screws. Roll that out of the way. Lift this bail to get this ribbon out of our way. Lift this bail to get the joystick out. Hold that ribbon up. Two gold screws. Remember, all the screws you'll be removing are gold inside. Leave the silver ones alone. And that screw's going to be stubborn, so we'll just leave it there for now. As long as this bail's up, slides right out. New joystick. Sorry, I'm going to put my head in the shot. I always put the ribbon in first. It just makes it easier. One screw in. Two screws in. Make sure your bail's up. Ribbon back. Bail down. If your shoulder button popped out, make sure it's back in. Oops. The little vibrator motor is magnetic, so it'll try to steal your screw. Do yourself a favor, give that a little tug to make it flat. And if you're going to push it with a metal tool, make sure you don't accidentally hit both pins. Push it in one side, push it in the other side. Probably should use a plastic pointy tool for that. to be safe. I always like to test this before I put the back screws back in. Controllers and sensors. First thing to do is update the controllers. I've found that this alone has caused drifting issues. Just because newer software for the Joy-Con allows you to calibrate it and it holds that calibration. So if you have one that's just slightly off center, it will actually bring it back to life. Now, if it's just drifting to one side and the stick is destroyed, that's a different story. Come back into control, calibrate the sticks, tip it like it says. And this one's fine. We don't need to run the calibration. I'll turn off the switch so it doesn't sit and play with it. Power, turn off. And we'll put our screws back in the back. And of course they can be stubborn sometimes. And that's it. So, as you can see, the small amount of labor that's charged whenever I have to actually replace the stick will very quickly be overcome if I have to cut a shim, put in a shim, see if the shim even works, and then potentially have to take it apart again. Now, I'll be the first to admit, shimming can help. If it's a Saturday night and you're playing your favorite game and it's going wonky, yeah, absolutely, try that shim. But the reality is, even if you only buy these 2 at a time on Amazon, you're probably only looking at $6 or $7, so $3 to $4 a piece at most. And I'll try to link some down below. And even if you don't have the tools, I'll make a link with a set that has some tools for you. So as you can see, there's no reason to try to baby along a busted or worn out stick. They're inexpensive and they're really pretty simple to repair. Yes, the ribbons are thin and can be a little fiddly, but anybody that just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of care and don't yank on the ribbons, it's a pretty easy job. Anyway, if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and make them down below. And why don't you hit the thumbs up for us? And on that note, if you happen to hit the thumbs down button, leave me a comment of why. Maybe it's something I can do to improve the content or make a future video. It would help me out. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you on the next video.